What is going on YouTube? You are on the lifeboat. I am Captain Calhoun speaking. Good morning to all of you. Welcome aboard. Yes, today we have a very special episode. If you have ever loved and lost, then today's episode is definitely for you. Honestly, I have to say, most of us probably have loved and lost. I don't think that we got to where we are in life without doing so. So, that being said, let's jump into it, huh? Marion Calabro, hello, good to see you. Kristen Melinda, Karma Chameleon, Flick Fox, Robin Miners, hello, hello. Jason P, Laura, Debbie Blair, Malvakai Payne, what is going on, y'all? Body Illusion, always a pleasure. Shimmy Dubuabi, I totally said that wrong, but I'm super happy you're here, Shimmy. I do remember your face in our conversations. I will try not to butcher your name any further. I apologize. Debbie Musto, hello, hello. Welcome in. Mischief Managed, Gary Mackey, DS Kitty. I was answering comments the other day and I saw some comments, a few, that said they couldn't get past the roll call. Well, I'm here to tell you the whole purpose of the roll call, which isn't going anywhere, we're going to keep doing it, is to connect. Our channel is a little bit different than the others out there. Connection is a very important thing. We believe that connection is the opposite of addiction. And we also believe that in this world, the world that we live in today, connection is severely lacking. So I'm going to go ahead and shout out all the names I please. And I think that it serves a great purpose. I don't do it just for funds, even though it is lots of funsies. It serves a great purpose, right? That's another reason why I get in the comments and try and answer them. I'm trying to forge relationships. I'm trying to build something with you guys. So I appreciate every single one of you for being here. I also appreciate those that left the comments that they couldn't get past roll call. I appreciate that too. That's just fine. Mischief Managed, good to see you. Kristen Melinda, Aunt KK, Aline Boutine, hello, hello, welcome aboard. Heck yeah, guys. Shannon Smith, hello. TKK, Anna, hello. Heck yeah, guys. Well, I'm sure Russ, what's going on, big dog? Good to see you. Butcher it all you want. I just made it up. Hell yeah. Good to know. Makers with Matrix Rabbit, what's going on? Good to see you, my friend. Hope this message finds you well. Flick Fox says, I'm literally getting ready right now for my ex coming over with some of my stuff. Talk about timing for this subject matter. Lol. Well, I tell you what, I think that no matter how much we know about this subject, no matter how many times we go through it, it doesn't get easier. This is just a difficult thing. To have a relationship that is close to the chest, close to the heart, whether it's romantic or just like a friendship that went really deep, right? You guys were good friends. To cease that being reality, to cease that relationship, to cease being with the person that you love is hard. It's a traumatic experience, no matter how you shake it, right? So I think that you could go through this a million times and it would still be a difficult thing to do. All right. So what do we do now? Well, I'm gonna hit you with the old cliches. That's for sure. We're definitely we're gonna journal about it a lot. We're going to get out there and try and live our lives normally, right? We're going to get some exercise, get some endorphins dropped on our brain. We're going to go about it how we would anything else. But what makes this different is the heart aspect, is the relationship aspect, right? That connection. You're all of a sudden without the connection with someone that you've been very, very connected with. I want to use, the elephant in the room example. But I don't want to talk about other creators, obviously, and definitely don't want to make anybody mad at anyone. But my dad just went through, is currently going through this, and our friend Reese is also going through this. I think it's really hard. I shouldn't say I think it's definitely really hard on my dad. I can tell it breaks his heart. I'm sure I haven't spoken to Reese, but I'm sure that it breaks her heart too. I'm sure that she's having a rough time with it. Now let's get some ones up for the both of them, my dad and Reese, right now, if you guys don't mind. They're both beautiful, wonderful people that love each other, and they are choosing not to be together. And you know, sometimes in my experience, I've had to do this. You know, sometimes it just doesn't work out for whatever reason, and you know, I'm not apprised of the details. Which, you know, I'm my dad's son, right? I'm also his best friend, and I don't have the details. So I imagine the details aren't out there. You know what I mean? I imagine he's keeping that pretty close to the chest. But my heart goes out to the both of them. Reese, I love you. I miss you. I don't think that this changes anything between us, obviously, right? I'm also going to give you space and time to heal before I reach out. I would like to reach out. I think about you a lot. There's that. I was very nervous about that because it's also close to my chest, right? But there it is. It's out of my mouth, out of my heart. You know, if you, what am I stepping on here? Give me just a minute. Please hold. I could make this stuff a little easier to manipulate. You know, the thing with emotional traumatic experiences, with relationships, with loss of connection, when we feel an intense emotion, when we feel some type of way, and a breakup is a perfect example because I'm going to feel all the emotions very, very intensely. Tony's Hooter, good to see you too. Hello there. Mary Taylor, what is going on? Christy, Anise. I will get in here and read your comments, I promise. I want to get this thought out. The thing is, when you feel these intense emotions, if you don't give them an avenue out of yourself, if you don't give them an outlet, so to speak, they will find a way out. They will bust a hole in your chest. And I don't mean physically, but you will experience physical manifestations of this emotion forcing its way out of your body if you don't give it a way out. Bottling up emotions is a great way. It's like putting... What's that candy you can put in a 2-liter of soda, shake it up, and it becomes a bomb? That is exactly what we're dealing with in emotion form, right? If we stick those emotions deep down inside of us, we bury them and we never give them a way out. They're coming out. Best believe you do not have the power within you to contain these emotions forever. So I highly suggest, I advise you to give them an outlet, give them a path. Put those emotions to use in some manner, whether it's writing it down in the journal, whether it's going out, doing something physical like a hike, conquering a mountain, I don't know, going river rafting, whatever it is, just going out and being with your friends and being normal, whatever it is, put those emotions somewhere, put them to use, productive use, right? Non-destructive use. Otherwise, they will find their own way out, which most likely will be destructive. One way that I like to do this is with art. There is something about music and visual art and really any form of art, right? Dance, anything that what's the right way to say this? You can feel someone's emotions by experiencing their art, whether it be looking at a painting, whether it be listening to a song, whether it be experiencing someone's dance performance. I like to put my emotions into art. I like to paint about it, sing about it, write about it. And that's my go-to way to deal with stuff. And in fact, when we do this art stream coming up, it's going to be exciting. Maybe I will choose some traumatic emotion of some sort, and we can think about, or I will think about that while I paint, right? While I think we're going to start with painting, but we'll do some other stuff as well. I just have to structure it properly. I'd like to do some music, but that is a tricky thing to do on the YouTubes. But I'll think about what I'm experiencing, right? I will go through the motions. I will go through the fire in my heart as I'm expressing art, as I'm writing a song, as I'm writing in my journal, right? As I'm painting. And that really will help to express those emotions as well as get them out of you, right? Put them onto something else, like a page. Katrina Schaff, good to see you. Hello, ASAP Lizzie. It's such a beautiful autumn day here in New York. Staring at a gorgeous burnt yellow oak out my open window. Scooby Lee, good to see you. And it does sound beautiful, ASAP Lizzie. My it looks kind of gray and overcast out there, although I do see blue. It might just be the way the light comes in my house, but it does look nice out there. In fact, speaking of, give me just one more minute. Sorry. My the temperature, the general temp is changing, so I'm trying to adjust my thermostat properly. I wonder if I should just keep it off now because it is far too cold. It is far too cold in here. I tell you what. All right, I'm going to read some of the stuff, and we can get back to the subject matter. Christy Anise, hello. Blessed to Crochet, surviving together. Izzy E. Hell yeah, I love it when Izzy E graces us with her presence. I hope everything's going well for you, Izzy. I know you've been super busy experiencing new things. Shout out to you and your family, sending all the loves I can muster. You know, it's funny. This makes me think of something. Izzy, I was listening to a metal song the other day, and I don't know if it was just the headspace that I was in or if it was just that perfect moment to hear it, but this guitar solo came on and I just like cried a little bit. It was so beautiful. I just like cried to this like gnarly metal guitar solo, and I thought you might appreciate that. But I just like shed a solitary tear for this song. It was pretty cool. It was a cool moment. A super duper cool moment. It was, which song, asks ASAP Lizzie? It's by Whitechapel. It's off their new album, so it's got some clean vocals going on. Hickory Creek, that's what it is. Hickory Creek. Hickory Creek by Whitechapel. The band is one word. Carry on. What's going on? Good to see you, Candy. Hello, hello. Christy Anise says, I'm okay with singledom. You know, you and me both. I tell you what, you know, in the hearts of every human, I think that we desire companionship. But it has been a work in progress. It has been a struggle to come to a place where I am okay with singledom. And, you know, I haven't spent a ton of my life in a relationship. I've spent the majority of it in singledom, but also unhappy about it, right? The more time that I spend alone, the more time I value my alone time and my space. In fact, I'm definitely not going to go to that party tonight. And I'm definitely not, well, I shouldn't say definitely. I most likely am not going to go hiking on Tuesday. And, you know, part of me regrets that, but already, even though it hasn't happened yet, but I don't want to go to a party tonight. And I don't want to go on a hike on Tuesday, although they both sound nice, right? Meeting new people, reveling, eating food that's cooked for me. I don't have to cook it myself. All of these things make me very happy, but I need to take care of myself. There are some things that I have not been taking care of. And this show is kind of about that. You know what I mean? I need to take care of myself so that I can take care of other people. I need to take care of myself so that I can meet new people and represent myself properly. I don't want the emotions that I'm bottling up and not handling to come out in a way that's going to affect my relationships negatively, right? Which happens, literally happens. I talked about this a little bit the other day, but I ignored my own body's no, and spent some time with a friend of mine the other day, a new friend. And because I hadn't been taking care of my inner business, because I was uncentered and ungrounded, I was rude and mean to this person. I was a little cruel to this person. Obviously not intentionally, right? But that's the way that I was able to express myself. That's the way I was able to represent and present and show up. Because that's all I had in the tank, right? If I had done A, B, and C, if I had been journaling, if I had been going to bed on time, if I had been eating the proper nutrition, if I had been exercising, which I've been doing none of these things properly and regularly as a part of my routine, then I wouldn't have represented myself that way, right? If I had done all of those things, if I had been doing my upkeep and managing my life, I would have represented myself wonderfully. But that wasn't the case. But that's a learning lesson, right? That's a learning lesson. Obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously, but this friend of mine doesn't take it personally. They most likely very much understand, right? But at the same time, I don't want to repeat that. I would like to treat them as a dazzling and tremendous human, as they are, right? Because that's the truth. So I got some work to do. I got some stuff to take care of. So there's that. There's that. I don't want you guys to think that my dad is debilitated because of this breakup. I don't want you guys to think that. He's definitely heartbroken, right? He's definitely taken it hard, but he's also doing what he needs to do to succeed. Also definitely doing what he needs to do to succeed. And I wonder who is supporting Reese, right? Like, me and my dad don't talk about this a whole ton because he doesn't want to. But it definitely serves and helps to have someone to talk to. I wonder who Reese is talking to. And if she's not talking to anybody, she definitely should be. And I don't want to tell her what to do. She's a grown woman, and she's wonderful, and she knows how to navigate her own life. Maybe I'll reach out and see how she's doing, though. Maybe I could extend that hand. I don't know. It's a little weird to talk to your ex's son about stuff like that, but I understand the power of peer support. I'm sure that all of you are also reaching out to her and making sure she's all right. Brianna Miller says, I went to a Whitechapel concert once, got absolutely wrecked in the mosh pit, LMAO. You want to hear a story? We should compare Whitechapel concert stories. My favorite band, and has been since I discovered them, their first album. And I finally got the opportunity to go to a Whitechapel concert in Salt Lake a few years ago. And I went with my good buddy, Hunter. Me and Hunt Nasty, the resident expert, went to a Whitechapel concert. Just for those that don't know this band and are going to Google them, they are named after the district in London where Jack the Ripper did his killings. And their first album is a concept album about Jack the Ripper. So you're going to find a lot of gnarly information. All of their lyrics are really, really gnarly. All of their music is really, really gnarly. Their newer stuff, like the song that I quoted, Hickory Creek, is a little bit different, but it still is rooted in like death metal, right? So you're not going to find a positive message. You're not going to find a wholesome read or a wholesome listen. You're going to find aggression, pain, and suffering in audio form. Just a little forewarning. I don't want anyone to be surprised. That Hunter's Full Moon was wonderful, wasn't it? I could feel it on the inside. But anyways, I went to this concert, right, Brianna? With good morning, by the way, with one of my best friends in the whole world. And I had an eyebrow ring at the time. I miss it. Rose gold. It was so beautiful. And I was a little too drunk back when I drank. And I got in the mosh pit because I was thinking in my head, like, am I going to not get in the mosh pit at this concert? Hell no, right? I'm not going to look back on this and regret it. I got knocked out. I woke up on the ground of the mosh pit, maybe 2 or 3 songs in tops. And I didn't want to party anymore. I did not want to be, as soon as I like opened my eyes, I was like, I don't want to be here. And my eyebrow ring was not in my head. It was just like bleeding. So it was somewhere on the ground, and I left. I left the concert promptly. So I got to see like 2.5 songs of Whitechapel. So I don't really count that. I still haven't been, as far as I'm concerned, but I haven't been back since. It was a pretty rough mosh pit, I have to say. If I hadn't been so drunk, I wouldn't have been so stupid. I tell you what. I promise you that. Goddess Divine, hello, good morning. Aaron Cooper, good morning. Spanx, I think she would really recognize and appreciate if you reached out. I'm definitely going to. I just want to make sure that the timing is right? Saying the same thing at different times can feel totally different. And I just, I know that I'm a very emotional being. I deal with things that I don't know how she deals with stuff, right? So I just, want to take great care. That's all. But you're right. I think that she will recognize and appreciate that. And she's on my mind, right? So I think that when that's the case, the right thing to do is reach out. Like when Takara's on my mind, I reach out and she like says, I was looking at my phone and you called. Like that's kind of how that thing generally works in my experience. So the fact that she's on my mind all the time, there must be something to that. So I should reach out and see how she's doing for sure. That's good to know. I didn't know that. She has a therapist, you believe. That's good, good, good. I hope you didn't get wrecked too bad, by the way, Brianna, because my experience was pretty terrible. I hope that got blindsided by this ginormous guy who kicked me square in the back. Oh my Lord. When I see stuff like that at concerts, I get angry. I get so mad. Like I'll beat people up in the smoking section for stuff like that. And I have. These hardcore kids like want to swing their legs around and like there's two different kinds of moshing. For those of you that aren't familiar, there are like the new age moshers and there's like the old school moshers. There's people that want to move and like, trade sweat with their friends. And there's people that think throwing karate kicks and swinging elbows is what moshing is about. And I don't know where that came from. Some bands like it and they'll encourage it from the stage, but when when a dude kicks a girl because he's not paying attention and he's just like swinging his stuff around, I kick a guy. You know what I mean? And I haven't done this in many years, right? But it's like a old habits die hard kind of thing. If I see that to this day, it boils my blood a little bit. At the very least, he's going to get a stern talking to. And if he wants to mouth off, we can smack him. We can smack him around a little bit, But usually when you confront them, their tail goes right between their legs, which is very interesting. It's never a huge guy, in my experience, that's swinging the legs. It's always some little kid with the comb over in front of their eyes haircut. Easy E says, my word, I've never been in a pit and gotten injured. The MTL crowd has the metal crowd has a pretty strict etiquette. They do, don't they? We pick our friends up when they fall down, etc., etc. Security won't even get to you. The crowd will take care of you before they do. Absolutely. Absolutely. And stuff like that blows my mind. It really does. You never know what kind of crowd you're going to get when you go to a show. Oh, MTL is in Montreal. Okay. I am learning things today. Little bits go a long way. I agree, Mary Taylor. I definitely, I'm going to reach out. I wonder how she's doing. I'm sure she's doing all right. Yeah, the Lamb of God. I went to a Lamb of God show with Behemoth, and the venue had it separated. The drinking section was like roped off, but there was like a whole pit and like it was its own section, right? And then there was the other section that was non-drinking, right? So there was basically two separate crowds, and both of them were just throwing stuff, and it was a wild concert. One of my favorites of all time for sure. I would go see Behemoth again in a heartbeat. But I think they're from Europe, and they're right now touring in Austria as well as other European places. So I don't know if that's ever going to happen again. That was a pretty sweet event. Casey, what is going on? Interesting. See, and I'm not privy to these details, so I'm not even going to attempt to speak on them. I think it would be folly for me to do so. Galen, I'm not a very large person either. This was a lesson I could have learned a lot earlier in life, but I had to make the mistake a few times, I guess. Izzy E says, was that the Behemoth Lamb of God Testament tour? I saw that one. I don't think so. I feel like I would remember Testament being there. It was Lamb of God, Behemoth, and can't remember the other band. It may very well have been Testament. I most likely have the ticket somewhere. Might be right here. Nope. I don't think it was Testament, though. I feel like I remember that, Izzy. I trying to remember the year, but I was drinking at that show too. So it was like, I feel like it was like 5 years ago, five-ish years. He came out, so I don't know if they do the same performance like for every show on the tour, but tell me if they did this at your viewing. When Behemoth came out, they had this like pentagram microphone thing sitting on the stage, and the stage was empty other than like their gear and stuff, right? But this thing like has, I don't know if there was a spotlight on it, but the light was hit. You could see what was going on, right? There was this like crazy evil looking microphone. And as they came out to like, I don't know if it was the intro to Daimonos or what it was, but it was kind of like that chanting stuff going on. And he came out with this big old hood, and he had this huge horns coming out from like under the hood. And he like came out with like a veiled face and like started the music, and then like pulled the hood back, and like as the music like got all crazy. And I'll never forget that like intro segment because of the way it was presented. It was really, really cool. And it was at the Complex SLC. Interesting venue, historied venue for sure. I want some media credentials. That sounds so nice. Oh, so what we called thrash, it's called metal there. I think you're responding to someone else, aren't you? What they called metal back in the day is not what we're talking about. Like bands like Metallica and Pantera. I do like Pantera a lot. Pantera is a little bit closer, but those bands are what I would consider thrash. Well, I guess Metallica is not thrash, but they're metal. But they're their own. They're kind of their own thing. But those kinds of bands are definitely not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about bands that probably don't sing. You know, they more or less bark like a dog. Yeah, I also watched that documentary, Jason, about the Woodstock 2.0, Woodstock 99. And I think that's what it's all about. I think that's why we go to things like this, right? Obviously, live music is wonderful, but I think what makes it wonderful is the performance, is getting to connect, right, with a band, whether it's like non-personal or personal, whether you have like the backstage meet the band pass or you're just in the crowd receiving their message, right? I think that that's a beautiful thing. One of my favorite things. I feel like when I set out to do this show, I had a lot more to say about relationship recovery. Um, it's weird saying the same things over and over. And it's also weird because these are things that I live and deal with and breathe every single day. Like I'm not dealing with a breakup every day, right? But the way that I walk through a breakup is the way that I walk through any big change in my life. It's the way I walk through any trauma from the past that rears its ugly head. It's the way I walk through anything that I'm anticipating to have struggles, that I'm anticipating to be a trial of on an emotional, spiritual, physical level. I move through most hardships exactly the same. And I shouldn't say exactly the same, but by the same like rubric, right? I have the same strategy, I should say. And really the strategy comes down to getting my thoughts and emotions out of my body onto maybe a page, or even if it's not written down so that I can read it, even maybe it's a picture I painted, or maybe it's a song that I wrote, or maybe I'm just giving it to the mountain on a hike or something. I'm going to think about it while I'm hiking, and I'm going to naturally be able to let it go. Like it starts with getting the stuff out of me, right? Processing through it, understanding exactly what it means for me, right? Why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling? I am feeling this way. I accept it. These emotions are mine, right? But that's how it starts. That's where we start. And then from there, we're left with a different palette than we started with, right? After I put my emotions onto a page, after I process through whatever I'm doing, whether it's on a hike or any of these things I just mentioned, right? I'm going to feel different afterwards than I did when I started. It might be a big difference. It might be a very small incremental difference. Maybe I need to go on a few hikes, right? We don't know. But we start with getting that stuff out of us, and then we evaluate what we're left with, right? Maybe more needs to be done, right? Maybe this is okay for now. Maybe we can go about our lives now and reach for the next goal that I would like to achieve. But maybe, again, our new palette after washing these things away, what's next, right? And honestly, if I do one of these things and I'm not feeling the effect that I really wanted, maybe I add a second thing, right? All right, I'm going to go on a hike and maybe I need to write a song, or maybe I need to do some extra, maybe I do some journaling on the hike. Maybe I add these things together, but I use pretty much the same tools to move through all of these things. And at the end of the day, if I can't shake it, I have to be physical. I have to be physical, and I have to do it loud and large. So like a hike won't cut it, right? Maybe it's a hard hike, or maybe I go for a run. I do something that I don't normally do, right? If it requires the heavy duty, if it needs some extra push, whatever it is that I'm working through, I add something physical. I add an element of extremity, some extreme, right? If it's journaling, like maybe I'm just going to take the journaling to the next level. I'm going to sit down and have a session where I just write so much. Or, maybe I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to go extra hard today. I'm not going to hurt myself, right? But I'm going to work myself to physical exhaustion and mental exhaustion. And often that will do the trick. I don't mean to make it sound mundane and cookie cutter, right? But we can paint it a million different ways. We can dress it up however we want. But at the end of the day, there are a very short list of things that I use to move through stuff. And y'all are a huge piece of that, right? Peer support. I didn't talk about this at all with all of that ranting I just did. I will talk to my friends about it. I'm not necessarily going to tell everyone, right? But I don't shy away. Like if it comes up naturally in conversation, what I'm going through, I often will choose to be vulnerable and tell my friends about it, right? I don't have to tell them the whole story. I definitely don't need to go on a rampage of like telling them my whole story, right? That often is a drag when I'm receiving it. But I can let them know, like, going through a nasty breakup, or I am struggling with my relationship with my father, or whatever. You can, sum it up in a few words, but I find that being vulnerable in those organic moments where it comes up in conversation naturally with people that I trust, I think it benefits me largely to let them in on it, right? It's an exercise in vulnerability. It helps get it out of me. And then they get to understand why I'm in this weird headspace, because I do want to hang out and try to be normal, right? That helps me to go and be with my people and do what we do, helps me to get back in my groove. But in order to do that, I kind of have to let them know as well, right? Especially if I'm a little out of sorts and they don't know why, I should probably let them in, right? I should let them in on what's going on. Like, hey, I'm struggling right now, but I really want to hang out and do what we always do. It'll help me out, the peer support part is not to be discounted. Connection is the answer. Love is the answer. Love trumps all. ASAP Lizzie says, best not to rampage, but yes, let it out to those you trust. It's freeing. And yes, they can understand you better. Absolutely. And understanding is the avenue to connection, right? If we understand each other better, we're connecting better. If we don't understand each other, we can't connect, honestly, right? In fact, I think that the fact that we can agree on some things, the fact that we can come together on certain subject is what brought us together in the first place, eh? I think so. I think so. Mocked, what's going on? Hello, hello. You guys can't hear my music, can you? My headphones died, so I have a speaker running right now. You might be able to hear it while my voice is going, but I don't think otherwise. It's very interesting, Christy. I think about ordering from the dating menu. Okay to look, I'm okay. It's finding someone who can accept your commonality, looking for true companion. It's interesting. I have never had a sustainable like companionship, right? When I say sustainable, I mean it didn't work out, right? So how sustainable was it? I do feel like I have some sustainable relationships in my life now, but I often think about this concept. What is like the ideal relationship? What will make this work for me, right? What will make this work for us? And I don't have an answer for that right now. I haven't found it yet. Words come up in my head that have been said to me, right? Like sacrifice and acceptance and understanding and commonality and, opposites attract and all kinds of concepts and things. But I haven't been able to nail down exactly what makes it work. And maybe that's because it hasn't worked for me yet. But whatever I have with Takara, we are dating, right? We are in a relationship, and it doesn't necessarily have a lot of definition, right? It's kind of fluid and open. But what we do have, whatever it is very nice, and it's loving, and it's embracing, it's nurturing. She called me this morning, actually. My alarm went off, and I decided to roll over and take 10 more minutes. And she texted me in those 10 minutes. And I texted her back promptly because that made me so happy. And then we got to have like a 30-minute phone conversation this morning, and it just lit me up. It just made my day. And, I don't think she would be calling me in the morning to have conversations if it didn't make her happy too. I'm pretty sure that's not how that works. So that was pretty cool. I'm very grateful for that. Very, very grateful for that. And, back to the topic of recovering from a breakup. I still sometimes feel like I'm recovering from my breakup with Lucy. For those of you that have been on the channel for a while, Lucy's not my most recent ex, but like my most recent serious relationship. And it ended very poorly. In fact, we can't be friends, that's not like me. That's not something that I normally experience, but we just went so far down into the depths that it's hard for me to like, we can be surface level, but then all these things come up, all these emotions come up inside me. And I remember why we're not together, and I can't not love her. I will love that girl until the day that we die, until the day I die. And there's just nothing's going to change that. So being near her, having interactions with her hurts a lot. It hurts a ton. And that's not something that I would choose. I'm not going to choose to hurt myself. You know what I mean? So we can't be friends. Unfortunately, it's very sad. She tries, consistently reaches out and tries. And the last time we spoke, I said to her, I'm sorry, I can't be nice. I think that was the last thing I said to her. And then I was like, I'll leave your number unblocked just in case something else comes up. Because she always reaches out to my grandparents for stuff when she can't contact me, which bothers the hell out of me. So I unblocked her and decided to be an adult. But it sucks. It sucks not being able to be friends with her. Rona Cooley, good morning. Currently dealing with mom being vulnerable to familial manipulation after dad's death. It gives me headaches. I'm so sorry to hear that, Mocked. I'm sorry you're going through this. Luckily, she's got you, right? To watch her back. I think that's pretty cool. Silver anniversary is next year. I found that communication, honesty, and loyalty are paramount for longevity. Yo, Jason, prolific words here. I should pin these. I don't know if I can. Candy says, I'm a peer recovery coach. Very rewarding work and also stressful. Absolutely. I often wonder who's the therapist for the therapist, you know? They've got to have one, right? Doing stuff like we do, I definitely need someone to talk to. And you end up getting really good at like not using specific, like talking about things in generalities, because you never want to talk about someone's business, you know? But I definitely talk about stuff that we talk about with other people, like in private, because I have to. It's not like otherwise I'm bottling it up, right? Otherwise I'm taking the stuff that I get from the boat and I'm holding it inside, and I can't do that. Whose behavior is strange? I must be missing something. Flickfox says, I think too many people are looking for the ideal, someone who has their whole life together that matches theirs. I'd rather grow with someone because I see that as an adventure in itself. I totally agree with you. I mean, are you going to find someone that's totally put together and you're totally put together? Like maybe, but I'm not put together, right? That's not where I'm at. And I don't know if I'll ever feel like that's where I'm at. I might always be reaching for something more, which is probably not a bad thing. Kristen Melinda says, if I'm talking at all before 10 a.m., it means I really care about you. Aw. Well, we love you, Kristen. We love you. Looking for AI. Yeah, can I get an AI girlfriend or what? Can I just download me the perfect companion? Is that what you meant? Because that's where my brain went. The one that reached out to my grandparents? Oh, yes. Okay. No, it took me a second. I just didn't understand. Now I'm going to go look for the original comment that you made, and I will read it with understanding in my mind now. Absolutely. Her behavior is very strange. She's constantly trying to find a way back into my life, and I wonder why that is. She would always talk about this twin flame thing. She would always talk about how we were meant to be together and it was divine, it was fate. And when it seemed that we weren't going to be together, she used the words, you can choose out in this lifetime and stuff like that. Like accepting that I have my own autonomy, but also like not willing to concede that we aren't meant to be together. So I think that I think it's an act of in futility to really try to get inside my ex's head, right, and kind of see from her point of view. I think that doing a little bit of that is okay, but really spending time trying to do that will drive one crazy and not be productive, right? But if I do try to see a little bit from her eyes, she's not letting go. Exactly. And honestly, that was one of the things that like broke us up. I don't want to say that's unfair to say, but that was definitely one of the main points of contention for me. Is like I'm really good at letting stuff go, and it's partially a defense mechanism, but also like it's how I am effective and move through the world and maintain my sanity. So her inability to let go of things would like translate into me eternally processing what she's eternally processing, which I couldn't do that. It was driving me absolutely nuts. And I held on for a whole year. Like we were together for 2 years, and the first year was pretty good. Obviously it wasn't perfect, but the second year, like I knew it wasn't, like I knew what the deal was, and I held on because I love her. I held on because I wanted to make it work, but that ended up being me just processing through all of her trauma for a whole year. Things that she was unable or unwilling, or I don't know exactly. Again, this is where it gets murky, right? I don't want to see this much through her eyes because I don't know what her blockage is or what her trauma is. I mean, I kind of do, but I don't know what the blockage is. And, if she can't find it, I friggin' can't find it. Right. So, maybe she'll figure it out. When we do talk, she's always telling me that she's doing so much better. And I'm processing through this trauma with my, this and my that. I don't want to talk about her business because it's her business. Right. But it definitely seems to fit that narrative, right? That she has trouble letting go and that she's having a hard time letting me go, right? But I don't know if you guys know, but Like, what broke us up, what ended up being the final straw was she chose my friend over me. And I said, yo, don't do that. And she said, I'm going to do it anyways. And that was the last time that, that I harbored, I don't know what the right word is. I still love her. Right. But that was the last time that was the straw that broke the camel's back for sure. Which, yo, there was so many things before that. Like, to get to that point, imagine what had happened, right? We should never have gotten to that point. I should have cut that off far earlier. So, I think it's pretty cut and dry, though. It's pretty black and white, and she doesn't necessarily see it that way. So, not for me. Not for me. I wish her the best. I've heard love is a verb, says Izzy. That means an action word, y'all. I'd add that love is a choice. I'm glad I chose to love myself more than they hurt me. The trick is finding someone who chooses you through everything life throws at you. I love this. I love this so much. Thank you for that, Izzy. The boat misses your wonderful words when you're not here. I tell you what. Now, I don't want you to feel FOMO, or we're going to call it JOMO, the joy of missing out. I don't want you to feel all those emotions if you can help it, right? Because you're doing good things. You're making waves. You're making progress, and I'm very happy about that. I'm very proud of you. We're all very happy about that. So, I don't want to pull you away from that, but we so much appreciate your presence. I want you to know. Mischief Managed says, Spanx, you must be very empathetic. It's hard when we take on other people's stuff. But for me, I can't not take it on. Discernment of what feelings are yours and are someone else's can get muddled. Absolutely. And when they do get muddled, it's important for us to discern. It's important for us to figure out what's what as empaths. Otherwise, we can drown in it 100%. And I have. This is a love song. I've talked about this song on the channel before. Darkest Nights. These thoughts will carry me. Had to let it catch up. Through the darkest nights, while your eyes rest in these thoughts. It's a good one. It's a good one. These thoughts will carry me through the darkest nights while your eyes rest in mine. Now that is a concept right there. I think that is what we all are inherently, unconsciously, possibly looking for in a companion. Someone that can weather the darkest storms with us. Huh? That's a pretty beautiful sentiment. It's healthy to know what our deal breakers are, I think, says Krista Melinda. Yo, loyalty is a big friggin' deal to me. Let me just come out and say that. I don't even have to think about it. Loyalty is very important, right? And I don't mean in the medieval sense. I just mean that don't betray me. You know what I mean? Come on. I would never betray you. So why would you do that to me? That's definitely a deal breaker. Spanx, would you ever invite your current girlfriend on the lifeboat? Absolutely. Maybe a good discussion for navigating relationships within addiction or recovery. Just a thought. It is not a bad idea. They have a lot going on, and I would love for this to be a thing, and I wouldn't want to half-ass it. I would want it to be immaculate. Obviously, it can't be perfect, right? But I definitely would care about that very much. So not that I don't care about other things, but yeah, I think this is a great idea, actually. She may have been on the boat already, actually. When I was out in Salt Lake, I stayed at her place, and I'm pretty certain that I did my shows alone, but at her house while she was there. So she may have popped in. You might have caught a glimpse of the Takara in the flesh. Lester Crochet says, Captain, being in a relationship is often thinking about the other person and their needs more than yourselves. I fix my husband coffee every morning. I do it out and he does the same thing for me. You know what? This reminds me of the way Takara and I treat each other. She loves making me coffee in the morning. And we're still kind of in a phase where we're learning like about each other and what we need and what we like. But when she figures it out, she just goes ahead and does it for me. And I try to do the same things for her. Although I struggle to find out how to help her sometimes because she's struggling to help herself. I guess that's all of us though, right? The things that I want to do to help her aren't things that I can do to help her, if that makes sense. But I think that won't be the case forever. I think that we'll come to a place where things are a little different and I can have more of a hand on. Honestly, maybe I'm discounting how much my sheer presence assists her, because I think that having a body around that we can connect on the intellectual and emotional and spiritual levels that we do, I think that having someone like that around just in the flesh helps her a lot. It helps me a lot. So maybe I shouldn't discount myself. Thanks for being here, guys. Hit that like, subscribe, and the bell for notifications. If you like what we do here, it certainly makes a difference. Good morning, Danette McClure. It's very good to see you as well. I'm doing fantastic this morning. I got to have a conversation with my girlfriend this morning. Made me very happy. I hope that you're doing well, Danette. Happy Saturday, you know. You know, Candy, I can relate with this sentiment so much. But I will say, if I show myself grace, a little bit more grace than usual, it helps a lot, because we all, at least I can only speak for myself. I feel like I'm a lot to handle, and I am. Like, it definitely, that's a thing. It's true about me. But it's more so in my head. Like, I think it's more severe than it actually is. And I'm constantly told this when I bring it up to people. So it must be true, I feel like, unless they're all just trying to be nice to me, which I doubt. I think my dad is pretty honest with me. But, you know, you probably are a lot to handle at times, but I think that you're probably also dazzling and tremendous, Candy. There's that. There's that for you. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. 1 p.m. in New York. I've always wanted to visit New York. I tell you what, have to get going and enjoy the weather. Well, please do. I much appreciate your presence here, ASAP Lizzie. But yeah, go greet that wonderful, wonderful afternoon that you've been talking about. Get some sunshine for me, eh? I am the Noise Opera. What's going on, Big Daddy? Good to see you. Tiffany Bob, hello. I don't know if I've ever said hello to you. Why do we have to click to see if this is Tommy or not? You are a grifting ass. Well, you can never come back. How about that, you jerk? For those of you that don't know, I am Tommy's son, and I do about 50% of the work on this channel. If you don't like it, get out. Thanks. I appreciate you. So rude, right? I can't believe I read that out loud. So disappointed in myself. What does that word even mean, grifting? Doesn't that mean like taking advantage for money or something like that? I'm looking it up. It's a word that I see the trolls use a lot. Gerund or present participle. I need to look up 3 words in the Oxford Dictionary to get this definition. Engage in petty or small-scale swindling. Interesting. It's very interesting. I don't feel like a swindler. Do you guys feel swindled? Because I'm pretty sure that's not what's going on here. And then it's kind of a rhetorical question. I know that I'm not conning you. So, Goddess Divine says, Spanx, I like your perspective on things. Having more than one voice is so helpful. I think that they were probably referring to my dad's face peeking up over the border of the thumbnail. That was intentional because I would like to talk about a situation without talking about a situation. You guys know how we do this, right? I'm never going to talk bad about another creator. And, there is an elephant in the room, and I would like to address it. I think it deserves to be addressed, but I also need to do so in a way that doesn't negatively affect the people involved, because it's not my story to tell, right? So that's why he's on the thumbnail. That's why, we very, very gently talked about the other person involved, right? Because I love them both, and I don't want either of them to be mad at me, mad at each other. I don't want any of you to be mad at either of them, right? We all love each other. It doesn't have to be that way, but I would like it to be that way. So, I don't need to explain myself, but I do, because I feel like you guys deserve it. Help, no, I'm being grifted. Get grifted, Kristen. That's so terrible. We can make a joke out of it, though. Makes me feel like stank rat. Get ratted. I know you don't feel conned, Shannon. Thanks for expressing that. Yeah. It's very interesting. We have lots of new people coming onto the boat, so I imagine that this is a subject that we will have to cover a time or two, and that's all right. Goddess Divine says, how does it affect you? How are you processing? Well, I tell you what, it's been a while since my dad and I have had so much space. I don't know if that's the right way to say that. My relationship with my father is not as close right now because he's really getting involved with himself, right? Which is, it's good. He's healing. So like that, one of the ways that it's affecting me is I don't get as much time or space with my dad, right? Which is okay. Again, I think it's absolutely necessary for him to mow his spiritual lawn, so to speak, right? Jason P. and Kristen, I love you guys. Thank you for your unending support. You guys are the best. But yeah, it's affecting me in that way. It's also like I'm learning a lot from it, right? I definitely am wary to put my relationship stuff online. You know what I mean? I think it was a nice experiment. I think it was very cool and fun. But you guys will literally never catch me being that level of vulnerable with myself and my significant other in our business. You know what I mean? Like, you guys might get to meet Takara. You guys maybe we'll do an interview or something like that. We'll have maybe we'll have that episode, but like, we're not going to talk about things that are going on with us. We're not going to put that out there because it's already personal and hard for us. Like, why don't we just go and make it harder for ourselves, right? So I don't think that I have learned a lot, right? So there's that as well. That's a benefit. And again, I'm not talking down to either of them. It's a very brave thing that they did. I don't think that they necessarily intentionally did it. Maybe they did. I don't know. Again, I'm not privy to the details, right? So again, if I'm not privy to the details, I'm my dad's son. We talk about pretty much everything. I don't think that the details are out there. And that's my opinion. Grifting tax, mischief managed, the Arabian bard, taxing. You guys are taxers. Get grifted. I think I'm going to make a shirt that says get grifted. I don't know. I'm going to redo the entire merch store. I today took down everything that's up there. It's obviously not hitting the mark. So we're going to wipe it all and start over. I think that allegedly is going to be on a shirt. I think we're going to do some super generic, the lifeboat crew, right? Nothing fancy. Just everyone can be on the crew, right? Have a crew shirt. I think that's a big deal. Maybe some TLB mugs that say the lifeboat, I'm on the crew, or something like that. Definitely the allegedly. And then maybe we'll make a grifter shirt. I don't know exactly how we'll present that, but I think an ironic grifter shirt would be pretty hilarious. I'm going to run it past my get busy grifting or get busy dying. Look at that. Flick Fox. Let's go. I'd better get the limerence mug before it's gone then. It's already gone, but I can send you a private link so that you can get that done if you'd like. When I say wipe it all, I couldn't find the delete option. So I archived them all. So like they exist for me, but not for y'all. So if there is something that was up there that you guys want, message me. I still need to get into that email. My dad said he will do that today. We'll see how that goes. I know he's got a lot going on, so I give him the grace to, he's going to do whatever he's going to do. But what am I trying to say? Yes, if there is something on there that you did like a lot and weren't able to get, let me know what it was, and I can make sure that that's available to you. I want a T-shirt with Tommy's face on it that says "eh" or "you feel me." I wonder how difficult it would be to put his face on it. We were running into difficulty with what's the word? Putting the images on the whatever that process is called, putting the images on the shirt with details. It wasn't coming out the way that we wanted, so I shied away from stuff like a face or stuff like a detailed graphic. But I see shirts that are like this all the time, right? So it's just a matter of me figuring out the process or finding someone that wants to do it for me for a good price. So that's really what it comes down to. Gladly grifted. I like that a lot too. You guys have the best. You know what's funny is I will turn this thing off and then the chat's not available to me anymore and I'll forget all your wonderful ideas. So let me go ahead and write these down. Also, this week, either Tuesday or Wednesday, we're going to be doing that art stream. I did not go to Jimenez's show. What the heck is wrong with me? Gladly grifted. Need a crew shirt with the squirrel. That's right. Yo, I heard Sir Grift a lot likes big bucks and he cannot lie. You other creators can't deny. Get grifted, yeah, for sure. You guys are the best, every single one of you. It is a little bit of a loss for me, right? But I mean, it's not something that I'm not going to get back, right? He's going to come back stronger than before, better than before. In fact, we spoke this morning for almost 45 minutes, and he sounded amazing this morning. He sounded like really good, really balanced, really grounded, really driven, right? Really cognitive. All of these qualities that sometimes fly the coop when he's not having a good day. So everything was right in the Admiral's world this morning. I'll have you all know. RSM says, allegedly with the musical notes, that 100% is coming. Yeah, I've been looking into stuff like this, Christy. And when you say just adjust the pixel, is this something you have experience with? Because, I mean, if you have software that enables you to edit pixel by pixel, send it my way. Is Mind Blank the software? I've been doing some research on different software for video editing as well as image editing. And there's a lot out there. So I'm having a hard time deciding which one to try first. I don't want to buy them all, right? I don't want to try everything under the sun. I'd like to buy a product and it be a quality product, right? So going through the process of finding these programs and either testing them or getting a review on them or talking to someone that I know that has personally used them has been quite the task. And that's pretty much the phase that I'm stuck on right now. And it's not that I'm not making progress. Depends on the program. I mean, I have a mind blank for ideas. When you say mind blank, what do you mean by what is that? What does that phrase mean? Mind blank. So it's not a program. You're referring to. So it is a program. Wait, no, that's a Dungeons and Dragons spell. Okay, let's go. Interesting. Mental state where a person is temporarily unable to think or remember things. Interesting. I learned something new today. Interesting. I will be looking into this though. And when I fully spread my wings to the length of their wingspan, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff going on. And I have to say the routine and the discipline must come first or I'll never get them done. But I have a drone with a camera on it. I have the ability to make videos that aren't lives, that are quality, right? Like I can go chase down a story in person with a microphone. We can have an interview out on the street, in the road, wherever. There's all kinds of stuff. I can put together an edited, maybe even an animated. I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but there's all kinds of stuff that I can do that I'm not doing, right? I've been focusing on this and trying to get my basis and my foundation together. I'm getting real close to having a stable, secure foundation. So, this art stream is one of me stretching my wings a little bit more, right? But eventually I would like to put together content behind the scenes and I just release it into the world, right? Like post a video instead of going live all the time. Obviously, I'm not going to stop going live, right? But the ability to put a video up on this channel that will live forever, that has like a different rewatch value, right? Like I think our streams have rewatch value, but the fact that we're interacting makes it more of a live thing. And that's the whole purpose of the channel, is the interaction, the connection, right? But I don't think that means we don't do videos. I just think that means that videos aren't the mainstay, right? But I mean, imagine if I did a video on this whole Linkin Park, Chris Cornell controversy with, or even some of the Church of Scientology stuff. There are so many subjects where I could just do a deep dive and do like a little mini documentary, right? And have actual interviews, have actual sources. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm thinking about. And I can't wait to bring it to you. I feel like I'm constantly teasing you guys, but I want you to know it's not intentional. I just have big dreams, and then I land somewhere not at the dream. You know what I mean? Like I can't make it all the way. Or I shouldn't say can't. I have not been able to make it all the way yet. So like I do have footage of me spinning fire. I do have footage from my trips, but they just didn't turn out the way I wanted them. I'm not understanding on the outset how things are going to look in the post. So, thank you for your patience. It's going to be well worth the wait, I promise. ADHD not helpful sometimes. I can relate with that, Christy. All right, y'all. I think it's time for me to get out of here. Much love to each and every one of you. Hit that like, subscribe, and the bell for notifications. If you like what we do here, it makes a huge difference. What if we have a shirt with you that says, I tell you what? I could definitely do that. Gonna look into it. I'll let you know what I find. Let me know if there's any merch that you wanted that you didn't get so that I can make it available to you. Because as of now, it's all gone. But yeah, much love to all of you. You guys have a great Saturday, all right? I may come back later today and do that Chris Cornell, Chester Bennington story. I would like to. That was my plan when I woke up this morning. So maybe sometime this afternoon. I'll make sure that you guys have some notice. I'll make sure a community post, and I'll put the show up, the room up with maybe like an hour to spare or something. So later, you grifty grifters, much love to each and every one of you. All right. Peace.